It's 3 a.m. in early June at Stockholm's Arlanda airport, and I'm about to embark on a series of journeys by planes, trains and buses across the north of Sweden and Norway during midnight sun. Starting from Arlanda airport just north of Stockholm, my journey takes me north by plane up the east coast of Sweden to Luleå. From there, I'm taking the iron ore line, the northernmost passenger railway line in Europe, up through the Swedish countryside as it changes from the rolling plains and lakes between Luleå, Gällivare and Kiruna before climbing into the mountains of the very north of the country, and then, after crossing the border into Norway, a dramatic descent back down to the sea in the town of Narvik. From Narvik, we'll continue to head north as we take the bus up through the mountain passes and along the edge of fjords to the Arctic capital of Tromsø. And from Tromsø, we'll head back south by plane to Buktamoen airport just outside of Oslo. For a final quick hop back to Arlanda. Luleå is the capital of Norrbotten County, the northernmost county in Sweden and the 25th largest city in the country. The city is an important harbour with access into the north of the Baltic Sea, and whilst it can trace its history back to the Royal Charter granted to it in 1621, much of the city is from the late 19th century, following a devastating fire that destroyed all bar a few buildings in 1887. The centre of the city sits on a spit of land jutting out into the river delta that forms the harbour here, allowing views both north and south out over the waters from the long coastal path that wraps around the peninsula. Luleå Sea is the main station in town and the end of the line for services from Stockholm and Umeå to the south. But this is also the starting point of our journey across the Scandinavian peninsula from here on the Baltic to the Atlantic port of Narvik in Norway. The first part of the journey is along the short branch line from Luleå to Boden, where the line connects with the main line coming up from Stockholm. Boden is the true start of the iron ore line, and from here north, the passenger trains are secondary to the massive iron ore trains that still run along the line frequently. For the first few hours, the train passes through the rolling countryside of northern Sweden, mostly made up of birch forests and lakes. until the train reaches the industrial town of Kiruna, the northernmost town in Sweden and home to the largest and most modern underground iron ore mine in the world, and the real reason for this railway to exist. By having links to ports in both the Baltic and the Atlantic, with Narvik being ice-free all year round, goods can be quickly shipped out in the most efficient way. Leaving Kiruna, the landscape of Sweden changes as the line starts to climb into the mountains that form the border with Norway. As we climb higher, even in late May, there's still plenty of ice and snow up here in the frozen north. Riksgränsen marks the border between the kingdoms of Sweden and Norway, but with both being in the Schengen zone, there are no formalities as we cross from one country to the other. The only marker being the flags of the two nations painted on the walls of the snow shed we travel through as we leave the station. Emerging from the snowshed in Tømmerelv, Norway, we start our dramatic descent, 513 metres down the mountains and fjord sides into Narvik. Narvik is the end of the iron ore line, with the ore trains running on a short distance further down to the harbour, which benefits from being ice-free all year round. There's been human settlement in Narvik since the Iron Age, but the area only started to develop as a port for the iron ore mines in Kiruna from the late 19th century onwards. Due to the importance of the port, the town was strategically valuable and was the scene of several battles during World War II. The town's impressive war museum tells the history of the battles and their impact on the town. From Narvik, our journey continues north by bus, along the sides of fjords and up through the mountains towards Tromsø. Shortly after leaving Narvik, the road dives into a tunnel and then emerges out onto the impressive Hålogalandbrua that crosses one of the arms of the Fjord. We then run alongside this arm of the Fjord to the town of Bjerkvik, where the bus then turns inland and starts climbing up through the hills and mountains, passing the ends of fjords down in the valleys below and alongside fast-moving mountain rivers. About halfway through the journey, the bus has a rest stop at Buktamoen for about 15 minutes before continuing its journey north. After a stop at Tømmerelv, the road continues down to meet the end of the Baltic, which marks the final part of our journey, following this fjord most of the way round until it reaches the Tromsø and our destination of Tromsø. The grand finale to our ride is the stunning views as we cross from the mainland onto the island of Tromsø over Tromsøbrua. Tromsø, the self-styled capital of the Arctic, is the largest settlement above the Arctic Circle in Scandinavia and the third largest in the world. At just below 70 degrees north, the city is subject to midnight sun in the summer and polar night in the winter. But thanks to the presence of the North Atlantic Drift, a branch of the Gulf Stream, the climate is milder than similarly located settlements. From the 18th century onwards, the town grew first on the back of hunting and then as a base to start Arctic expeditions from. During the 19th century, the town was even referred to as the Paris of the North. With the Norwegian Polar Institute moving here in 1998 and the expansion of the universities, the city is now an important academic town, with Arctic research being the second most important part of the economy after fishing. Despite the milder climate, you still can't get away from the fact that you're 350 kilometres north of the Arctic Circle and winter gets snowy up here. So to keep the city moving, a large part of the road network, including the main road to the airport, have been dug into the ground under the city, complete with mid-tunnel roundabout. And as we close in on the airport, so we bring our journey north to an end. There are frequent direct flights from Stockholm to Luleå with journey times of about 1 hour. There's just one train a day from Luleå to Narvik, taking 8 hours to complete the journey, though you can travel direct from Stockholm to Narvik on the overnight sleeper, which takes about 18.5 hours to make the trip. Bus number 100 runs from Narvik to Tromsø 3 times a day, Sunday to Friday, and twice on a Saturday, with journey times around 4.5 hours.